Hello.
Hi. How are you
Well,
this week?
I'm good. I'm excited about today's topic.
I am too. This is one of those questions I feel like comes up a lot. And
Mm.
I love that you're going to talk about this right now because it's low view days, you
It's
guys. What do
low
you
view days and why I love them, which is
like pros and
probably the opposite of how most people feel about low view days. But I think they're great because for me, there's a few reasons. Usually a low view day either happens for me where it's just like the content isn't that great and I knew it wasn't that great and I just threw it out there because I wanted to throw
cons.
something out there, and for the 100 people who see it, they enjoy it, and
There it is.
whatever. That's what I'm doing that day. Sometimes I'll intentionally do that, put out content that I know is going to get very little views because the next day I have content that I want to be seen and I know it will get shown to more people if I do a video that doesn't get shown to as many people. So sometimes I will intentionally do that. Other times it's just like one of those days, or recently there's been some big like algorithm changes, and not just algorithm changes, but just like platform changes in general. Like whenever I see all the buttons change and new features
Hmm.
pop up, I always have like at least one day that has like very, very low views around the setup of that new thing. Like that always happens. And so I just like, I don't worry about it from that perspective either. But for me, I kind of view low view days as like, when you're working, like when I used to work at a zoo on rainy days, like nobody comes, like it's just it's going to be a very quiet day for you, and you kind of enjoy those quiet days. Like yeah, they're not as fun,
Right.
but you get to like get more stuff done. You're not like busy all day running around. You can kind of work on longer term projects that have been sitting in the background. And I kind of feel the same way about low view days, where it's like I don't have to reply to 100 comments. I can kind of take the day off of being online. I don't need to answer any questions. Like it's a rain day,
Yeah,
we're having a
exactly.
rainy, slow, chill out day on social media. And then the next day we kind of jump back into it. I think unless you're having like several days like that in a row, suddenly, you don't need to worry about one low view day. And in fact, it can sometimes help you get more views on another video later.
Yeah. And there are different times that I know that if we're talking about TikTok, you'll see some of the older videos suddenly get picked up and get put back out there because of some type of algorithm shift. So it might be that your newer video might not have the views, but some of your older videos are starting
Mhm.
to kick back in. And I know
I've definitely
Instagram
had
has
ones
done
that I
that.
thought, like, this is normally the content that gets a lot of attention.
Hmm.
Um, and it got nothing. And then 2 weeks later, all of a sudden it has 100,000 views. And I'm like, what? What happened?
Yeah, it's like
Like,
there's no
I
rhyme
was
or
like, oh,
reason.
this got nothing at the time. So I was thinking, like, oh, well, it's just one of those days. So yeah, it's true. It's you never know with that sort of content, what
Yeah.
it be.
Yeah, and I think too, like all of the platforms do it where they will shift things around, and so things can happen that you're not getting as many people. Things have changed over for whatever reason, but definitely I feel like on TikTok because people are trying like that seems to be a number two that people get hyper focused on as well is that the low views.
Mhm.
I'm only staying at this. I'm only staying at this, and because I look at low view days as like if I bet something, if I know I'm usually hitting my views in a certain range, and if they dip
Mhm.
there, maybe they don't quite make it for a day. I'm like, all right, I have to like, I'm gonna look at my strategy again because that's the day I just kind of rethink my strategy. The next day I look at it.
Mhm.
Can I learn something from that? What did it was it a hashtag? Was it the music? Was it the time? Did I switch up the time of day? Because sometimes, I feel like it works really well for me to post in the morning, but then there are times that it's worked amazing if I've posted in the evening instead. So just coming
Yeah.
back to experimenting and being
With it.
okay.
And also, TikTok is a gaming app. It's designed like a slot machine with varied reward schedules. So it wants to keep you guessing whether you're going to hit a jackpot or not,
Yeah.
so if it kept giving you really good views on every single video, whatever that means for you, there would be no incentive for you to create more content and scramble more on the platform. And so I see people kind of playing too much into TikTok's hands with that, where they have a low view and then they start posting 6, 7, 8 times that day, or it doesn't get a lot of views in the first hour, and so then they post a lot more content, and then the content gets more and more desperate and like intense and sometimes aggressive, trying to regain what they lost in that one day or 2 days.
Yes.
And then it just completely reshifts what TikTok's doing for them instead of just riding out that low view and coming back the next day with the same content you normally create, but maybe slightly elevated or something with a little tweak on it, or, something
Yeah.
like that. Like, don't play into the hands of don't go buy a bunch more coins to put in the slot machine because you didn't hit a jackpot that day,
Don't play into their
that's
hands.
what social media is designed to do. It's not going to give you wins every single time. And actually I had one recently where I knew it was some sort of update was happening because I posted the video and it was sitting on 0 for like 2 hours or something, just 0 views, and then like 1 after like 4 hours.
Yeah.
And so I made another video being like, does anybody see this video? I think there must be some like update happening, and this was what I wanted to say, but like if you do see this, let me know. And like all of my people, like all of my friends, like showed up massively in that video and were like, we see you, you're here, I was like, I'm home, you found me. You brought me back, it was like kind of like joyful team effort thing of them finding me and reclaiming me back into the BookTok world, and so it's just taking this like video that just like completely died for no reason and
Yeah.
turning it into like this fun, uplifting kind of team effort thing that ended up being like really great and like a way for me to connect with my friends on social media and my following. And so it's, you can have fun with it too. It doesn't have to be like, here I am again on another bad day and nobody's seeing my videos, and you're like, nobody wants that. Nobody's excited to commiserate with you on that. But if you're like, hey, could you come pick me up, I've gotten lost on TikTok, and can you come comment if you see me, people are like, oh, I see you,
Yeah.
it's fun and kind of like more playful and joyful.
I think that's the key is like going in, like we always talk about being, optimistic and playful, enthusiastic. And I think too, because in all this with low views as well, like these are some positive ways, but of course we'll get into negative headspace as well when it happens. And sometimes you can't help it because there might be outside things going on that, there's some type of craziness happening in your personal life or something going on in bookish world that's not making you happy. And you just can't, because we always want to be on, but we can't. Like, we're humans, you guys. We're not Disney characters. Like, we've got to turn off sometimes. And I feel like for myself, there have been times I've gone. Just a couple weeks ago, I shared with you, Allie, about how I sat here and it wasn't anything big going on. I just was trying to get back into things after the holidays. And I had such trouble that I was not finding joy when I went onto any social media. And if you look back, like through my Instagram and TikTok, Facebook, all of those, somewhere in December to about a week ago, I am on there, but sporadically, because I went in and posted here and there as I needed to or wanted to. But I took a lot of that where I was like, if I'm not feeling the joy, it's going to come out through what I'm doing. And I enjoy going to Instagram and to TikTok to post. And if I'm just sitting there trying to just like one day, I just remember trying to like type out what I was going to say. And I was like, it was so lame and vanilla and just so like, Okay, yeah, I'm happy. This is great. It's a good day. And I was like, this is, you've got to go away until you get it back. You just like
Yeah.
go
Or
find your
pivot into
sparkle.
something else, like pivot into like duets or a different kind of content or just reposting
Exactly.
like funny cat videos, just like find the thing that is still enjoyable. And if you can't, it's okay to take a break for a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do think that like sometimes it's the algorithm, but a lot of times it's you. You
It's,
know what I mean?
you got to look at
And I
you
feel
and your
like
content, what you're
some
doing.
people are like, the algorithm just hates me. And it's like, well, actually, your content for the last month has been like really different than the content you normally make. And it's really
Yeah.
negative, or you seem really like not into it. And that's probably why, more than just like the algorithm change, like
Yeah.
sometimes it's just the content isn't there, or there's no engagement, or there's no trying to connect with people. Or sometimes I'll see authors just go into full sale mode and they stop, like they used to make funny content, or like talk to the camera, ask questions, just share bits of their life or their writing process or different things. And then it all turned into buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. And they're like, I don't know why my views have tanked. And it's like, well, because you stopped engaging with your audience and you started selling to them.
Yeah, it's like, you've got to remember, like, even if you're on, like we always say, like with TikTok, forget Instagram rules, Facebook rules, but you're still on with people and humans that don't want to be sold to. Like that's they just
Mhm.
don't. They
Especially on TikTok.
yeah, they want to support you. They want to know what you're doing, but they don't want to show up every day. I mean, I couldn't even imagine if every time we got together for coffee or something, I sat down and like was just like had my book. I was like, "Hey, Allie, so here's what I'm doing right now. I got my book. Let me tell you about my
Yeah.
characters." You'd be like, "Would you just stop? Let's talk about anything
You're like,
else."
I love you, but I don't care. I
I
don't
don't
have time to
care.
read your book.
Yeah, I don't need this right now. I can't. Like, let's actually talk.
I mean,
How
we
are
do talk
you?
about our books with each other, we should say,
Yes,
but
we do. We do.
I'm
Yeah,
not like, you should go, but I have a sale on, right, 199,
exactly.
like,
I've got a
yeah,
free book right
exactly.
now. You gonna go sign up for it? Are you on my list? Do I have are you following me on BookBub? Are we doing like no like
Could you
like
imagine?
save it? Like
Yeah.
that's why like that whole I used to call it the pillars, but it's like you've got those
Mhm.
stop measures for you. They're like that's
Yeah.
me, the them, the books, the fun, like the different, like look at what your pattern can be. Find your voice, find your rhythm in your posting. But most
Mhm.
of all, it's that you have to be joyful and having fun because if you aren't,
Even
you
if it's like cheeky or snarky or kind of like sarcastic, it doesn't have to be like golden retriever level energy.
yeah.
It can be sexy, it can be like all sorts of like nerdy, interesting.
Yeah.
It can be all sorts of different things, whatever that means for you and like the things that you're interested in. Like we had a plumber here recently. This will make sense. Hold on, just come
Yeah.
with me.
You're like,
We
yeah,
had a plumber
everybody
here
hang on for the ride.
recently, and he was telling me about this update in the kind of drain plugs that they use now and why. And the way he was saying, he was so passionate about these drains. And I was fascinated. I was completely wrapped up. Like, I would never go out and seek out learning about plumbing. But I was just like, he was so into this that I was like, wow, this is really cool. And it just goes to show that when somebody really cares about the thing that they're telling you, it can be about anything and you really care too, because they
Yes.
have that kind of spark in them about the topic.
Yes.
And it's the same with this. It's like whatever it is you're talking about, if you're interested in it or want to share it with other people. And I think it comes down to that sharing aspect. It's sharing over selling, because you can share that you have a new book out, or you have this new thing, or that you really appreciate when people leave reviews, or like all of these other things, or like, oh, look at, like, I just got this new paperback in and isn't it gorgeous? And I wanted to show you. Like, that is a completely different energy than saying, go do this, buy this thing, like all of this like directional kind of direct selling. Sharing your enthusiasm, sharing your excitement about something, letting people into your life about the things that you have going on, even if they are kind of like more sales directed in what they are, is a completely different energy that you're bringing to what you're saying. So like, a lot of my content has my books in it. A lot of it is kind of stirring up excitement about my books, but it all comes from that energy more than like go do buy. And that I think is the difference. And if you, it would be really interesting to do 2 videos that were exactly the same, except with that tweak in energy. Because I guarantee you the one that's the sharing instead of selling one will get many, many more views.
Oh, I'm right there with you. Of course, because people want like you don't want to be told. I feel like that's also human nature. Or I'm just an old woman who does not want
Don't
anybody
tell me what to
telling me
do.
what to do. Exactly. Like that comes
I'll
up
buy
like
it if I want to buy it.
yeah, right. Exactly. Like I've always been that kid though since I like, don't tell me what to do. I'm not gonna go do that. Like if I don't need to do, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, it's like you go do this. Like, oh, do I want to? Do I really want
Yeah.
to? But
So
yeah,
check if it's your content that's creating the low views. And also it's okay that if you make a video that you know isn't gonna like be your big
yeah,
hitter, you know, like that's okay. It's
you can
okay to
have
just
it.
kind of throw up some fun content or some, you know, something that you just find interesting, or just having a bit of a chat that day, and you know it's a very long video and probably won't get seen by as many people, but especially if you're making content for the people who usually do show up regardless, even if that's 50 people, you know, they're still going to see that video and they're still going to care. They're still going to go share about your books with other people, you know. So,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And you know, on that
don't
too,
panic when you have a low view day, is what we're saying.
exactly. You know, and even on because definitely like look at your content. It can be all of these other things going on.
And
Um,
it could have nothing to do with you.
it
And
could
it
have
could just be
nothing.
TikTok playing the game. And that's okay too. And
Yeah.
if you think that video is awesome and you want to try posting it again, you can like copy that link, strip off the TikTok watermark, and repost it again a few days later with
Yeah. Just
maybe
play
different
around with it.
hashtags or a different song in the background or something.
Something interesting that happened to me when I've been just kind of dipping back into Instagram as well. The other day, I was like, oh, let me pull a couple of my TikTok videos that I'm going to strip the watermark off of and put up on TikTok or put up on Instagram. And this has led me into a deep dive looking to see if Instagram's done any algorithm changes because I think they might have, but I still have more experimenting to do. I had taken
Mm.
one of my old faithfuls and put it up, and the amount of views over 24 hours and engagement, which is usually in a far different place, and it was 24. I'd gone into almost 2 days and it was abysmal. So what I did,
Mhm.
because it's Instagram, different app, where TikTok, we say leave it with Instagram. I looked at it and I know it well enough there. I was like, all right, we're going to archive you. We're going to try again because this is showing me that not that many people have seen you. So for some reason, something didn't work. So then I
Mhm.
tried doing it again, but it's like, you know what? I will try this time. I'm going to do the same exact video, but in app in Instagram,
Oh.
even though I get really mad at Instagram. Like, there's another story because it usually something breaks with it. And so
Mhm.
I had gotten it all together, did a whole, because I'd done like, you had the things, the text coming up. I did a check on it twice to make sure it was okay, posted it. And then 24 hours, there was still, it was getting better engagement, but not, again, nothing abysmal in this area. I was like, okay, what is going on? It's a content thing. This is a content thing or a hashtag. I've done something wrong here. And when I went back to look, when I had posted to Instagram, lesson learned that I need to watch as once it posts to Instagram. For some reason, it only had taken the first, like you had to have all 6 text boxes to understand where we were going, and it only given the first 2, and then it just stopped. And that is not the way. So it's like Instagram, sometimes in the reels, it does do funny things. TikTok has as well before in the past. Hiccups happen, things happen. So all I did was say, forget it. And I archived that one too, because I don't believe in deleting. You always want to
Yes.
archive an Instagram because it still counts towards all of the things that you were doing for your account. And I think I just went in a whole other direction with a different post because I was like, okay, I've done these couple of experiments. I'll come back in a couple of days and try again. But it was like, the first thing I did was, all right, it's either I flipped a switch because of bringing TikTok over, or it's my
Mhm.
content, like something has happened
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, because you have to look at it from all angles and be willing to reload again, try it
Yeah.
again and see what
Yeah.
happens. Like, it's okay.
A/B testing, keep
Yeah.
experimenting. And
Exactly.
also, like, I totally forgot about the Super Bowl. Like, this happens every year, but like,
Oh my God.
right?
It
Like,
was over
we
Super
don't
Bowl
live in the States anymore. We
week.
feel like it's not a thing here. So it's only if
Oh
an
my God.
American says something that we even remember the Super Bowl.
Oh
And
my gosh.
so like nobody's watching
Nobody.
your TikToks when
No,
the Super Bowl is happening. It's like
no.
there's certain days of the year, certain holidays, certain big events that are going on, or like world issues or things happening. Those days, like nobody's there to watch your things. So that's not a you thing. It was just
Yeah,
that day. So it's like it's okay. Reuse that content if you want to, or just be like, oh, I didn't really like that video anyway. I'll try something different. It's like
exactly.
it's okay. And that works across all platforms too, if your content is being seen.
100% have a thing. That's one of those things that usually, because if we were around Christmas, Black Friday, Thanksgiving, of course, those are days that it's like, forget about it, you guys. Go ahead, get on there, put something up to be consistent, but just know it's just going into a void because either people aren't there or they're staying away because, like Black Friday, they're all out shopping or staying away from computers because they know they're going to be sold too.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, low view is like look inside, look at everything very
Flip it on
holistically.
its head. Celebrate the low view days.
Yeah.
Embrace it. It's kind of like on Saturday Night Live when they have a sketch that they know is bombing as they're
Yeah.
performing, and it's like you have to like lean into it and just embrace the
Yeah.
fact that it's just completely bombing and like
Yes.
accept it. It's like that's what you have to do, is you just have to go like, I'm just gonna bask in the glory of this very low view today.
Yes.
You don't need to delete it, you don't need to hide it, just let it exist, embrace that low view, and then move on, to your next
Exactly.
great content.
I feel like that's like a good like ending question for us for the week. Like our question of the week could be around, have you had a low view day?
Yeah,
And if
and
you
what
have,
do you do?
what did you do? Because I tell you, my new reaction. Because when I look at it, I always look at mine as a puzzle for real. Like I'll look and be like, what's the thing going on? And I do go in very curious, as opposed to like years ago where I'd be like, low views. But now it's more a curiosity. But I
Mhm.
feel like after this conversation, there's more of a place for celebration that should be having. Like, you got low views, fantastic. You've got nowhere to go but up.
Woo! Yeah, you get today off. Today is a sick day for social media. You
Yeah.
go have fun, write your books.
Oh, brilliant. I think that's us, Allie. I think we're
Yeah,
done.
awesome.
We're
Well,
good.
thank you, everyone, for listening. We hope you have a lovely low view day soon.
Mm.
And we'll talk to you next time.